Welcome, everyone. We are doing a special podcast. I thought it was going to be a mini pod. It's not. I think I got two fired up gentlemen here tonight, and we're going to let them rip. We have two big controversial topics. But first, before we get into it, like, subscribe, and we have Richard here from All Things Alvalade. How do we pronounce that?
Alvalade.
Alvalade. Okay, perfect. All right. I missed you here the last time I was out of town, but welcome back. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me again. It's always a pleasure doing stuff with you guys. You guys are fun. So we always have a good time. I'm happy to be back. We got some fun stuff to talk about today. Dash was already riled up just before we started recording too. So
yeah, he will. So Dash, you ready for this one?
Oh, hey, how's she going? Hey, I'm here to tear some new sphincters. Yeah, bud. Yeah, we've got ourselves a good one here today. We got the ice all prepped up. Dave did a good job with the Zamboni here, and we're gonna melt this bad boy.
We're just gonna clap some fucking shit bombs, lads.
I know, absolutely.
Oh man, see, these guys are fired up. If you do not understand what they were just saying, that's basically
Canadian slang.
That's hockey. It's basically hockey talk. Yeah, it's Canadiana, probably leaking in to Michigan and Minnesota and the Midwest. You know, all those areas. It's hockey season, guys. Everyone's riled up. So we're not here to talk about hockey tonight. Of course, we're here for the wonderful, beautiful game of football and how it can sometimes get ugly as it has. We decided on the fly we are going to get into our very first topic, sports betting in midst of Fajoli, Zaniolo, Tonali, and who knows who else. So sticks in the center. Choose your sides. Go.
Dash, you start. I'll let you start first.
All right. So, kind of giving you guys the lowdown on it. So, Nicola Fajoli was accused, and I'm pretty sure he admitted guilt, but is being brought into the FIGC for questioning on sports betting on illegal sites. And for me, I think his contract should be terminated. It's a hot take, but it wasn't a separate sport. It was the sport he plays in that he's an active player. That to me irritates the hell out of me, and it shows a lack of maturity on his part, especially for a lot of people who think that this guy is like, the next Marquisio in a sense of coming in through the ranks, becoming a full-time player and making an impact. My issue with him is that Pogba gets busted for doping, so we're one midfielder short. And now you have something, you risk yourself, you risk your career for doing something stupid like this. He has gone and he has cooperated, hoping that he can get a 1-year ban, because if he didn't, and I'm pretty sure they would have found out anyways, he risks 3 to 4 years. So my thing is like, you ruin the integrity of the game. You guys can say, "Oh, he's just making a bet in some random league in the Czech Republic or some random league in Slovenia."
That's how it starts, though.
That's how it starts, right? The issue is, and this is one of the things that a lot of people don't understand. Professional athletes know professional athletes, whether it's in different sports, different leagues, different anything. And the issue with it is Fajoli's like, "Hey, so-and-so," or even an agency can get involved at that point, because agencies have players in numerous leagues. So for them, hey, look, you've got plus 500 to get 20 passes in this. Can you do it for me? Can you do something for me? Like, for example, how many times have we seen Paul Pogba, Paulo Dybala, Cristiano Ronaldo hang out with professional athletes in the NFL, NBA, etc.? Athletes, in my opinion, regardless of what sport they're betting on, should stay away from any kind of sports betting, because it ruins the integrity of the game. Because now we've already bitched about referees sucking ass at their jobs. Now we have to sit there and say, why is this guy playing like absolute dog shit all of a sudden? And now it throws asterisks on performances, on players' abilities, on things. I don't like it. I hate it. Let betting for the plebs, let betting for the peasants, per se. You guys make enough money off advertisements, off playing in general, that you shouldn't even be engaging in this. That's something, it's insider trading. I mean, like, imagine if I was the United States Congress buying stocks. Just kidding, they do. But it doesn't mean it's okay.
What?
It doesn't mean it's okay, but It's irritating. It's irritating because he's supposed to be a main staple, right? Yet you do something really, really stupid. Like, this is more dumb than doping, in my opinion. Anybody, you guys go for it. I'm gonna lose.
I'll jump in. I kind of agree. Like I'm gonna preface this. I have no problem with people wanting to bet on sports. It doesn't bother me one bit. You want to place a bet, you want to light your money on fire, like go nuts. I'm not a big bettor, but like to each their own. I really don't like, and it's gotten really bad here in North America with some of our athletes being sponsored by betting companies.
FanDuel.
Like it's every like segments to like intermissions and stuff like in hockey games are like, and here's the FanDuel odds for this. I hate that. I hate the bombardment that we get with sports betting. It's every second advertisement is a sports betting ad. Every other segment is sponsored by some sort of sports betting company. And I really don't like active athletes being part of like sports betting marketing campaigns, like you said, Dash. It sets a dangerous precedent. I don't trust it. I don't want it anywhere near the sport. It's all it takes is for one guy to start some little trickery, and then guy number 2 does it, and then guys 4, 5, and 6. It just needs to start with one, and then you have an epidemic.
Yeah.
Well, it's already 3 just within the.
It's already 3 in Italy. We know of, and just in Italy.
Yes. And that's the concerning thing, because what don't we know at this point?
I could understand Zaniolo doing it because low-key he's kind of a fringe bum at this point. But no, he's in the Premier League. He's making decent money. And like Tonali just got a decent contract from Newcastle United. Like
he's got that blood, he's got that Saudi blood money. He shouldn't be betting illegally on games.
Like I don't understand that. And anyone, and people will be like, Dish, you're being a little bit too harsh with Fagioli's contract being terminated. Dude, if he gets a 3 to 4 year ban, which initial like actual consequences are for that, his contract's practically null and void anyways at that point.
It's not worth the paper it's written on at that point.
Exactly. So yeah, sure, a year, Dash, like it's fine with him being suspended for a year. I would still cut him.
Yeah.
Well, they're cut from the Italian camp right now, so they are not playing the qualifiers. Yeah. Done.
Like, yeah, I would still cut him because now we have 2 big gaping holes in the midfield. And we can't sign anyone until January.
Yeah, true. You still have like 3. We're not even like a month into the most people's season. You have 3 and a bit, like 3 months till you can actually sign anybody.
It's a long way. It's a lot of games.
That's a big stretch of games for Juventus, but any team in general. If any other players get done in by this, like if a team in England, let's say, gets done in by this again, you have 3 months to figure it out, right? Especially if it's a key part of your team. Like say Holland gets done up in bed. There goes Man City's whole game plan. Just as a hypothetical. I'm not saying he is or anything. I'm not throwing out wild rumors or accusations, just using an example. But yeah, what don't we know? This is just the first of 3 guys. We're gonna probably, I think, just before the weekend's done, we're gonna have more names.
One more.
I think we're gonna have at least a few more names. It might get into double digits at that point.
And the irony of it is, this is such an Italian thing. Like, I'm gonna put my Sam Adamo hat on, but it's like, hey, it's calcio when you have your own guys betting on games around it. Like, I bet you,
I feel bad for Italian fans because like every time when like Italian football is really starting to experience like an upswing, something fucking stupid happens, like Calciopoli in 06, right after the World Cup. Everyone's on a high, Italy's won the World Cup. Oh no, all these teams are being done for shady shit. And then you have kind of the mid 2010s. It's okay. And then COVID kind of hits after Ronaldo comes in. And then just all these other things. And now it's like, okay, we see Italian teams on the rise again. Like all of them did amazing in Europe last year. Inter making the final, Fiorentina making a final, Roma making a final, coming off a Conference League win. And then this breaks. It's like over the last like 2.5 decades, every time you see Italian football kind of recover from something bursts the bubble. Something really stupid bursts the bubble. Something really foolish.
It's just I don't understand Zaniolo, and I don't understand, especially Tonali, right?
Tonali blows my mind.
That blew my mind. Yeah, like, to be honest with you, like, I would expect sports betting or sports gambling from players that are like 36, 37 on their last legs, ready to just say fuck all, right?
Or like guys who are like, I'm not going anywhere in my career.
Yeah, like your Serie D players.
Yeah.
which they probably are. Nobody cares about.
No one really cares.
My thing is
suddenly there's like $1 million bet on a Serie D game between like two random teams no one's heard of it.
Exactly, and even then, like the coefficients, but it baffles me because Fagioli was essentially a poster child on a good chunk of the Juve ads.
Yeah.
He was a clean sheet, essentially.
Yeah.
He was the new. They kind of Juve's had a couple rough years with different players and allegations and all these different things, and he was kind of the new face of the team, kind of the new boy. Nothing wrong with him. He's not done anything wrong, and suddenly, psych.
I know, right? Psych.
Pull the rug out from under you guys.
It's. And part of me, like, to be honest, like I'm actually pretty pissed off at like the team in general, like Allegri too. Like, you have a guy that got himself busted for doping, and then it's like you have this dumbass
didn't even hide it well, by the way, that he got busted for doping. Like,
no,
really did not do a good job. I've seen petty criminals do a better job hiding evidence than he did.
It's like I'm sitting here in my head thinking, and Pogba might have been pressured to come back because of the fans and all that stuff, but at the same time, Pogba, like, grow a pair of pants, like, dude, like, you seriously let fans peer pressure you into taking extra testosterone.
I gotta give a quick shout out in that for that topic there for Pogba, because Rabona TV, our friend Adrian Sousa, did a pretty good video covering that topic exactly, and as always, he nailed it on the head. So check out Rabona TV and watch the latest Pogba video, because it's got everything you need to know.
It's dope.
Someone
it'll get you. It's juiced up.
I was just about to say it'll get you juiced up. All right. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It'll drop your balls for sure.
Okay, Dash, you're cut. You're cut.
Look, moral of the story, sports betting is bad if you're an athlete. If you're a hooligan like me and a delinquent like Richard, by all means, have fun with it. But
bet responsibly. But yeah, if you're an athlete, don't.
Do gamble responsibly. If you do have any other gambling addictions, please call the National Service of Gambling Hotline.
Well, but it's true.
There's an ad.
It is an issue. Like, that's my issue with them bombarding it so much. But there's people with like legitimate like illness related to gambling and like sports gambling. So like maybe we shouldn't bombard this. Like,
it's like alcohol or tobacco or any of that kind of stuff. It just makes so much money.
There's so much money in it. They won't say no. And like, I get it. There's just more responsible ways to advertise it, I think.
Well, at least where we live in Ontario, Canada, one of the provinces, it looks like it's going to get regulated because it is bombarded. How long has it been? A year now, or just over a year? It's been I think it's been closer to 2 years.
Is it
2 years already? Yeah, and it's just like it came in hard and fast and has not. It's just been relentless.
It's
not let off. Yeah, so it is pretty annoying because you cannot watch any sporting event from a Canadian broadcaster and not just have it constant. It's not even like light beer commercials anymore. It's just sports betting.
It's sports betting and cars. I don't even see beer anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
what's that stupid one? That stupid car commercial?
Yeah. It's bad. It's bad too because even the segments are like all being sponsored by like FanDuel, and they're dedicating like segments of like the pregame and postgame stuff to like the odds. And I'm like, this is not healthy in the slightest. Like, we need to stop.
Yeah. It is a bit much. So that was our quick fire sort of out of nowhere. We're doing it. Game day decision topic on the sports betting. It has just developed over the past 2 days. It's developed more so than our next topic, which is kind of died in the water. But honestly, this is something we've wanted to do for a while. This next topic, I know I'm dangling the carrot because I haven't told anybody yet what it is. So I'll just keep on rolling. But
go for it. It's your show.
I mean, I know this is controversial, the whole sports betting thing. I know everyone has a different exposure to it depending on the region that they live in. So I know we got a lot of North American listeners, a lot of people from Europe. We got some from Asia, the Middle East, what have you. Basically, weigh in, get down in the comments. Just let us know because we're interested. And this isn't like a one-off sort of discussion. This discussion is likely to going to be very in our faces for the, I don't know, next few weeks, maybe. I don't know. We really don't know, but
you can bet on it.
Yeah, oh boy.
If I was a betting man, I'd say it's going to be in the news for a little while.
If I were to roll the dice here.
Okay.
I'm losing. I'm losing the show. Okay. So on that note, because Dash ruins everything for me. We're gonna go into the next segment. It's on the Super League. Which one, you ask? All of them. Which one? I have 3 separate websites from 3 different Super Leagues. We'll get into it. Specifically, this is why we called Richard, because the few times he's been on, the Super League has always kind of been teased there a little bit.
Popped up.
Yes. And you've been like, no. And we're always like, we're on board with it. And this is why it'll be interesting. Because, and I know Dash got excited about this when I mentioned this. He's excited. So that's why I'm gonna let him basically take the reins. And once again, I'm gonna throw the fuel into this fire and get you guys going.
Well, let's start with the news that broke last week, which was allegedly, we don't know how true this is. UEFA was planning their own version of a Super League. They very quickly poured cold water on that. They were very much like, this is not a thing. So there's 2 things that have happened here. Either this is true, and I don't agree with it, and it's bullshit, just prefacing that, or we do know that the Court of Arbitration or whatever, basically the major courts, will be handing down a verdict later this month on the original Super League proposal that was proposed by Juventus, Real Madrid, Barcelona. Basically, the only 2 left, I think, are Barca and Real Madrid. So they can just play El Clasico 80 times a year if they want. That's what's. I'm wondering if someone threw that out there because they know there might be a verdict that's not in their favor in the courts. That's all we know. UEFA poured water on this very quickly. So either there was smoke where there's smoke, there's fire, or someone's planting some shit because they might not be getting some news they're happy about in the next couple weeks.
So this was originally released by Spanish paper El Pay, so as it says right here. And yeah, I expected, because I think we might have been live when the news broke.
Oh, really?
And we're like, yeah, there's going to be more on this, because I hadn't really read into it. It's like, there's definitely going to be more on this.
It came out of nowhere, too.
Yeah. Wait, and then nothing.
Did you say El Pay? I think that's El Pais.
I don't. You're the Spanish speaker, Pete.
I know. You went French.
I went French. Oh, well, I mean, I would.
Also worth noting, it's a Spanish newspaper that broke this. That's
52, David.
No. But I mean, I'm on the French border. I naturally default to the French pronunciation on things. Right? So I'm sorry, I screwed it up.
Oui, mon chéri.
Oh, good.
Dash gets one.
Worth noting that it was a Spanish paper that reported that, and 2 Spanish teams have a very vested interest in it.
Yeah,
one much more so now than the other, based on recent allegations. We'll get into that after, because that's part of my argument. But yeah, well, Dash, I'll let you take it away now. I'm curious to see what your thoughts on this and this whole thing is.
Gotcha. Let me hit my music. All right, Dash Cold 316 just said the Super League's about to whip UEFA's ass. What? No, I'm just kidding. So, look, from a concept, I like the concept. I think there needs to be a different kind of. Honestly, I think UEFA, FIFA in general have run their cause as tournament organizers. My argument for the Super League isn't where I want, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juventus, and another club to be the main reins of it. I think there needs to be a different body that's, again, formulated differently. Because in my opinion, I'm not a big fan of UEFA. I'm not a big fan of how they're essentially glorified tournament preparatories or tournament guys. If anything, when you're looking at it, and I'm going to attack it in a multifaceted option, right? Right now, I'm looking at it from the governing body's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotta be something where you're involving whether it be delegates of teams or delegates of, to be honest with you, I'd rather not use delegates of the leagues because that's what UEFA is right now. It's a boys club. It's a jockstrap club at this point. For me, I think it's better than what the Champions League is, how it is currently and how it has been, right? Because right now, Champions League is pay to play. It really is at this point. It's not like how it was in the 80s. It's not like how it was in the 90s where, some Bucharest team from Romania can make a consistent runs in the round of 16 or in the semifinals. Like in 2002 to 2005, you were seeing teams like Deportivo, Real Betis, Porto. I know it kills me to say it in front of you, but you have teams that are making runs, deep runs into Europe that were consistently making runs, where it's like now, especially in the prime Ronaldo Messi era, where you had 4 teams that were consistently making it into the semifinals or being consistent juggernauts: Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and then you had PSG or a well financially funded team, right? The 4th slot was always the underdog slot in a sense, where you would have an Ajax, you would have us, because I considered us during even our best peaks of our power. We were that 4th odd team out, right? Because we just didn't have the fund. I said federal funding. Why am I thinking government institution?
You don't have Real Madrid or like Barcelona.
I mean, Real Madrid money is practically the monarchy of Spain. But my issue, and the thing with that I had an issue with, is like you have all of these teams with lopsided spending, especially now with the Premier League, because I hate them, but they did something right. They got America involved in their league.
They modernized quicker than everybody else.
They did, because the Brits, and I got to give the Brits credit for this. The Brits were like, "Hi, what these wankers over here watching the stupid hand egg sport, and all their franchises are more expensive than our clubs."
They were basically asking for it, though, right? Because there was no language barrier, and Americans would not. It's very hard for the American market to want to, like, even go on Netflix. How many people will watch, and I'm guilty of it, watch subtitled film, a foreign film?
Nobody. Exactly.
Really.
They're not going to watch Italian football.
So, like, in what the Premier League did was they capitalized on it. They're like, "Hey, let's try to make this lucrative. Let's try to make this attractive. Let's make them watch it." Because, in all honesty, the worst NFL franchise, the Cleveland Browns, is worth more money than Real Madrid. Can you fathom that? Right? Like the Washington Commanders was recently sold for $6.5 billion. There's not a single footballing franchise that equates to that. And the Commanders are not some special franchise. So what Britain did, the UK or the English FA, was like, "Hey, we're going to get the biggest TV producers in the United States to broadcast our matches," which is NBC Universal. And NBC Universal, since 2015, because it used to be the Barclays Premier League, and that's when we used to make fun of them, right? Their embarrassing group stages. Yeah, their embarrassing group stage performances back then. We bantered. Nobody from the Prem could make it past the round of 16, right? So now they started investing 15, 16 consistently, building their product, better camera quality, better stadium quality, all of it. And now they're running full stride. And unfortunately, because a lot of other countries don't have the proper setup, Real Madrid and Barcelona were making money off Messi and Ronaldo, and that was one of the reasons why they were the financial powerhouses that they were at the time, because they were marketing the shit out of Messi and Ronaldo. Those two were thrown in our face for everything, right?
All the time. Those two teams run that league like a fiefdom and have for a long time.
Yeah,
I will say.
Yeah.
So, of some of the issues that arise in Spanish football, it's of their own doing.
It is 100%. And then you have the rise of the Habibi money, or the Saudi and the Qatari funds,
oil funds,
oil funds. Yeah. So like you have that, which is the rise of PSG, but PSG never won anything or made anything out of it. But the issue is the spending deficits, and that's what I had an issue in UEFA financial fair play, but in reality, PSG's owners stroking Sheffrin in the back while like, "Oh yeah, financial fair play," instead of actually really enforcing it. And like, I mean, Manchester City has all these violations and all this other baloney, and nothing's happened to them about it. So for me, the reason why I'm a big fan of let's say A22 or the Super League or this new Super League is it's a different governing body. It's not UEFA. In my opinion, I think it's delegates from clubs, and that's what A22 is. It's the body that has the delegation of all these different clubs where you have a salary cap. You have spending limits. You have, hey, this is what your revenue is. We're going to give everyone similar levels of revenue, and we're going to go from that, and everyone can build there. Because, yes, the initial design of the Super League was stupid, that initial in 2021, but that was a concept. They were 4 or 5 years away from actually doing anything. But the monster that UEFA is, they jerked off the English because the English are the ones that have the most money and the most leverage to make this slander campaign about it. And we reviewed a guy that reviewed this video, and the guy made no arguments that had any point to it. But for me, the Super League can't be like, the closed league as it was. It's a growth stage, right? You have the A22 design was there's 4 leagues. You can grow your way up. The more you grow, the more money you receive, the more money you have to make yourself. You can essentially do your football manager journey in a sense, right? Because right now you can't, unless you have some kind of sheik or prince that looks at you and says, I'm gonna buy you and we're gonna run it, and then you lose. As most people would say, the club sells out in a sense, right? Like Newcastle, they sold out. It's not the same Newcastle anymore. So why I detest this modern system, because you don't have, the funny thing is the Europa Conference League was created to give, Eastern European countries, those, lower tier teams, a chance to shine. None of them are going to go further than the Conference League. They only get 10 million for winning the damn thing. And what exposure? No one gives a shit about it. Whereas, like, for example, if I'm Luddingtown, or if I'm like, some third division, well, we'll use like Lecce in Italy for something. If they were able to qualify for the tweeners or the Green League in a sense, in the lowest tier of the Super League, they're getting money to essentially build their franchise, to build themselves up, because most of your big franchises, like except your Real Madrids and Barcelonas, but like your Juves, your Inters, they all started as grassroots teams, and then they built their way up through success and through their journey. Because the footballing world back then was possible. Where it's like now, in my opinion, I think UEFA cares more about lining their pockets than actually watching their teams develop. And this is my issue with other leagues. The English FA is the only league in the world that actually gives a shit about improving their league. Liga doesn't give a shit about it. Serie A, look at who they have for Paramount Plus in their app in general, how garbage it is. And they wonder why.
Comes up every single time.
It's the truth.
It's the truth, though. These little digs.
It's the truth. Like, come on. Who here is excited to sit there and be like, oh, man, I can't wait to watch Calcio on Paramount Plus? You know how many people in the United States have canceled Paramount Plus and gone to Fubo, that Paramount Plus is doing ads? Oh, by the way, we do 30 days for free if you subscribe to Paramount Plus. Well, because Dave, I'm not kidding you. Even Sam mentioned it. Our friend Sam Adamo was like, everybody is canceling Paramount Plus and switching to Fubo.
Look, I'm wearing a Calcio hat.
Like everybody, sorry, I did it right over your talk, but I had to sneak Sam in somewhere.
We love him, but a lot of people have been canceling it and switching to Fubo because the coverage is atrocious. You have like a bunch of almost like post-college graduates that don't really have any affiliation. It's like CBS is like,
it does pale in comparison to like their Champions League and like to a lesser extent Europa League coverage on the CBS like family.
Yeah, because it's honestly the budget coverage. Like and this isn't me taking a dig at the people that work there. They work there. It's not like me saying, those people are terrible people, but it's just like, you look at that and then you look at what the Premier League has as far as coverage, highlights, and all that other jazz. And then like even look at CBS with the Champions League, how well they do that. Like you have Thierry Henry and all those other guys. Dave hates Terry, but it's fine. It's one of those things you look at it and it just, how the hell are you going to grow your league that way? And don't even get me started with La Liga. La Liga pawned their league off to ESPN, and ESPN doesn't give a shit. I mean, hell, ESPN's productions. ESPN's production is still better than Paramount Plus. At least their fucking app works when I'm trying to watch it on TV.
ESPN's used to broadcasting soccer for years too, right? That's difference.
It's just ironic, man. I'm sitting there trying to turn on fucking Paramount Plus to watch Juve play, and then I have to turn and restart the app 4 fucking times because it won't work.
Well, it took half hour, but Dash is here.
Hi, everybody.
Shalom.
Hello. I mean, I played my Stone Cold theme music, but that's why and for me, we need something that helps other clubs build money. I love parity. I love competitive leagues. One of the reasons why I love American sports, because the parity of it.
Yeah.
One team there is no outside unless you're Tom Brady or Michael Jordan. There's no fucking way that you have a full-on dynasty anymore at this point. No matter how hard the NFL tries to push Patrick Mahomes, but it's parity. That's what makes it entertaining. That's what sells. Nobody gives a shit about seeing Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Bayern Munich go in the semifinals every year, besides their fan bases. But at this point, hell, even last year's Champions League, I tuned it out. I coasted out.
Well, just another example of a European sport losing an American fan base or trying to do the American thing and losing out for similar reasons is F1, because Max Verstappen has completely dominated, and we've known since like the second race basically that he's going to win the championship. He won it last weekend. There's still 5 races to go. He's got the lead between first and second is larger than the amount of points in second. And second place is his fucking teammate. So nobody cares, right? They lost 650,000 American viewers this season.
Yeah.
Because one dude completely lit it up and there was no competition.
Yeah. Well, and here in the, I can't even finish. I can't even mind my words, but look, people can say, well, why don't the other clubs just get better? Okay, great. Fantastic.
Like easier said than
it's a lot easier said than done.
As someone who cheers for one of those other clubs that would be outside of the big European hierarchy, it's a lot easier said than done when the system's kind of rigged against you.
It is. It is. If you're not sexy, if you're not attractive, if you don't have, the superstars on your team, they don't give a shit about you. Like, for example, we'll use Sporting. Sporting doesn't have any kind of superstars or super young talent.
Well, we got Victor Gyökeres, I'll have you know.
Well, I mean,
basically just said nobody gives a shit about you.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it like that, but I'm saying, like, for example, you don't have like an Mbappe, you don't have like a Haaland, you don't have a Dusan Vlahovic, because if you did, you do have Paulinho.
We have a Paulinho.
If you guys did, then one of the bigger clubs would have poached him from you, right? Yeah. That's kind of how it is. And that's what sucks about Sporting, Braga, and some other teams like Ajax as well.
We're just feeder. We've almost become feeder clubs for the bigger clubs, essentially.
Yeah. And that's
how everyone else views it. Like the fans of Barcelona, Madrid, even us Juve fans.
Everybody views though going to one of those, like, not top 5 leagues, but one of those middle leagues like England, the Netherlands, Belgium, even Scotland, Turkey, like they view those leagues as the stepping stone.
Yeah, like an example.
I'll play for a decent team there, maybe get a decent move to the Prem or to La Liga or to wherever.
Like one good example was Grimaldo, and it's like, how is this guy not being picked? Everyone just because of who he played for, it just expected him to leave. Yeah, and just every year is like he's going somewhere. And he eventually has now, but like it took a long time, but it was just expected that he would have.
Yeah,
and the issue is like, unless Sporting get some crazy investor from the Middle East, you guys are.
Let me tell you a story. I'm gonna cut you off. Let me tell you something, dude. This is a rumor that Big Daddy, Sugar Daddy, Todd Bowley, Mr. Chelsea himself was interested in buying a stake in Sporting. That got turned down in a hurry because the club would never allow it. They were like, the club owns like, I think 80% of themselves or 78% is like socio-owned. The rest is like third parties. So they're like, he would have to buy out all the third parties. Like none of them want to sell to him. And they're like, he's just like, well, we've used those as a feeder club and blah, blah. And everybody immediately was like, if you pass us, we're going to fucking riot. Like, no way are we becoming a feeder. First of all, our academy is better than Chelsea's. Find me one Chelsea academy player in the last like 10 years that's done anything compared to the amount of Sporting players that have gone on to do name things per capita. Like, it's just not the same. So every Sporting fan was understandably like, why would we take Chelsea's leftovers when they don't even compare to like our leftovers? But that's my rant on if we had a sugar daddy. I'm like, he wouldn't spend the money on us anyway, so fuck him. We'd just be his little side project.
He don't need no man.
We'd be his Gumar essentially, if that. I don't even think we'd get that treatment. Even he wouldn't give a shit about us.
Probably not. Well, I mean, he's nosedive Chelsea somehow.
Brutal.
Like I
How do you
don't comprehend.
How do you
I don't know.
up one of the top like Prem teams of the last like 2 decades? Like,
if he did nothing, it would be better kind of situation.
If he just sat back and let them kind of do what they were doing, it would not be nearly as bad as it is. Present day as of this recording.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what my biggest issue is right now, is that unless you have some kind of deal with a rich sugar daddy or our Sheffrin's best friend, you're not getting that money because, like, for example, Sporting can play in the Champions League. They could win the whole thing. Say that they win the whole thing.
I like the way you're talking. Say more.
I know, right? But like, they say that the overall like revenue that Sporting's historic run from TV viewers and all that brought, say that it brings about 500 million, right?
Yeah.
Sporting would only get like 50, and UEFA would take the rest. Like, that to me is just out.
Well, the UEFA system too is rigged because the bigger teams in UEFA, and I blame UEFA for this too, the UEFA's let the bigger teams bully them into the 5-year coefficient thing where it's like, well, if you've been there for X amount of years and you're ranked this high in the club, you get a bigger cut of the revenue than this team. So like, our revenue for a win at a group stage was not the same as what Real Madrid was getting just from the UEFA money, UEFA's payments. Because Real Madrid basically like, well, we're Real Madrid, we should get more automatically. And I think that's the issue a lot of people have, is more the entitlement from some of the big teams. I don't like UEFA a ton. They've let themselves be bullied by a lot of the bigger clubs over the years. It's their own. A lot of this was their own doing.
100%.
It was always heading. I feel like it was always heading for the more you cave to the big clubs and didn't call their bluff, the more they were going to see how much they could kind of push you and see how close the line could they straddle before it was too much for the Confederation and for the leagues and stuff, right?
Yeah, and you've hurt the development of other clubs, or you've hurt the parity of it in a sense, and that's one of the issues that I've had with UEFA. And it's like, look, I like the concept of there being like a league format instead of like a group stage where you get those marquee matchups. But for me, and this is where my pro Super League differs from a lot of pro stances, I don't want clubs running this. I don't trust.
Yeah,
I don't trust them. I would want a separate entity that's not football.
But here's my question: who's A22? Because they just popped up, and we've never heard of them up until recently. Who's A22? Who are you? Who's behind you? Where are you getting your money from?
What is an A22?
What is an A22? Why this specific letter and numbers? What's the deal? I have a lot of questions.
Actually, we don't really know. That was never explained.
That's what concerns me, is we don't really know. So
there is a very like air of suspicion to it that has not gone away, because it's like, okay, this was presented to us. And then we expected something, and then we all kind of forgot about it. And I just had it up there a few moments ago, and it's like, it's just the same shit.
Yeah, they don't really. They're very vague about what they propose. Still, they're very vague about where all this extra funding is coming from. They're very vague about who has found it, and I just don't trust it because a lot of the clubs have shown their hand already. They fucked themselves on the first goal. They showed their hand. They showed what they ultimately want. This guy just does not tell me. This does not look like a trustworthy dude, by the way. Look
he does. He's blonde hair, blue eyes.
Look at his beady little eyes.
Blonde hair, blue eyed.
This fucking jabroni, this Poindexter. I call him more names. Look at this guy.
Last October, we began an open dialogue on the future of European club football.
Look at this guy.
Since then, we have spoken to nearly 50 European.
Bird. What a stupid name. Yeah, I don't trust them because who's to say they're not I'm getting the what treatment now. I'm getting the live crowd treatment. What?
It's funny. I had a mustache, and someone was like, "Hey, he's got to play Stone Cold music." So to start a live stream, it was actually pretty funny. So like, I came in late during a stream, and then like Dave was like, "Oh, Dash is here," and then I was like,
in the chat.
"Yeah, I did that," and everyone just kind of lost their mind for a minute. And I'm like, "There you go, boom! I just won YouTube entrances of the year."
Just call it. Won the award.
Done.
But yeah,
now if I can just get him to show up on time.
Touche.
He was on time today. He was all right today. Yeah,
Only for you.
I don't trust this 822 because no one knows who they are, where they came from, and for all we know, they could just be some shell company from Real Madrid and Barcelona and whoever else.
That's where.
And let's be real. I don't trust Barcelona. Let's be honest. Let's get to Barcelona for a second.
Yeah, let's fine. Let's dunk on them. Let's go for it.
Because I want to dunk on these guys. Because you really think you want to trust the guys who are, after recent allegations, at best case scenario, they're being done in for very sloppy and poor money laundering. That's the best case scenario right now. Not great.
The worst case
scenario is
fabricated
5 other things. It's poor and sloppy money laundering, bribery, potential match fixing, just flat out fraud, overinflation of assets. It is horrendous. Anybody who would want to trust them with anything is an idiot.
So let me humor you with this then. So say that Barcelona get busted with like match fixing, bribery, and all that.
They get hit with everything I just listed.
Say that they get hit with everything. Does that put an asterisk on Messi's career? I say yes.
Yeah,
100%.
100%. Does it?
Yeah. 100%.
It would be hard not to, in a sense, wouldn't it?
100%. I would say because
it puts a decent, depending on the time period too. If it's like a
2008 to 2017 or 18.
The whole run.
That whole run.
Are there any Messi fanboys that are willing to come to his defense in the comments? Let me know.
I would.
Because to be honest, they bribed refs like in all those Ballon d'Or years. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, could for example, say that Blatter and them, because Blatter, I mean, it's been proven the motherfucker received payments from Qatar. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if, because Barcelona, you know how much money they made off Messi?
They made
just Messi alone.
The fact that they made ungodly amounts of money and have no
still
money
fucked
now
it up. Yeah, I was gonna say. I saw there's every single fucking 8, 9, 10-year-old wearing every year, every season the new Messi jersey.
Messi shirt.
Even if it was a fucking fake one.
Well, if that's the case, Ronaldo fanboy better to have a fucking field day.
Oh,
speaking of fake,
go nuts.
Speaking of fake jerseys, Richard, tell us about yours.
It's a Canada 1980s. It's a Canada 1986 jersey. Leave me alone.
No, it was just a quick segue. It just worked so well.
But yeah, but it's interesting because depending on the time period, I mean, if anything's proven,
I mean, the time in question is going to be 2008 to about 16 or 17. Because think about it, the Champions League they won against Chelsea, not Chelsea, but from beating Chelsea
that year was the
semifinal game,
and then they beat Man for the treble.
Yep, and then for example, the Champions League final against us with the no call for the penalty on Pogba, that's erased. So Messi loses 2 Champions Leagues from there.
What about the one
Arsenal
2011 when they did the double?
Yeah, with Van Persie, in the sus yellow card, because apparently the ref was just like, well, he shot it, so another red card. Boom.
Fuck him.
So look. And that's also going to put an asterisk on Pep Guardiola's coaching career too.
Huge.
This has Amazon Prime documentary written all over it.
Absolutely.
Oh, we're gonna get an amazing Prime or ESPN 30 for 30 in 5-10 years on this nonsense. It's gonna be so well done. It's gonna be lovely.
I just watched the Beckham one. Well, my wife was watching it, and I caught it.
I had to finish that one.
I watched the last 2 episodes of it. I didn't watch the first one. I gotta say, pretty good. Posh can shut the fuck up. I can do without her.
I'm 3 episodes deep. I'm very tired of Posh. No offense.
Yeah,
and it doesn't. And this doesn't save Real Madrid either, because Real Madrid in that 3-peat.
Oh, then they're gonna start looking at Real Madrid.
Really
ridiculous dominance over the years. Well, and Perez has always been the driving force behind this. He's always been the one who's been pushing for. We need a league with just the best teams, and by his estimation, it's the big market teams, as we would call them in North
The best
America.
teams are the Premier League plus or minus 3 clubs.
The Premier League, the best 3 to 6 Premier League teams, and then the best, just us 2 from Spain. Fuck the rest of the big teams in Spain.
Juve, fuck all the other Italians.
The best 2 or 3 in Italy, and then everybody else that's a big name in Europe can go fuck themselves.
Pretty much AC Milan and Juve, because we all know Inter has no fucking resaleability. Like who the seriously? Come on now.
They've always wanted this. This has always been the end game for them, and I don't trust if it's the clubs behind it. I don't trust them.
See, there's not much of a disagreement between me and Richard. It's just we have 2 different kind of angles.
I just like the Champions League in the year. I like the Europa League more than Champions League. Europa League breeds chaos.
I know at this point, the Europa League is probably the competition to watch. Yeah.
Lately has been.
I didn't even watch
quite the competition.
I didn't even watch the Conference League because I like seeing obscure teams. You don't get that in Champions League. It's the same.
But you nerd out a bit on those teams too, don't you?
I do, but it's the same 20. You know, every year the Champions League's basically the same 20-some teams because the big federations and the big teams have basically rigged it so they're almost fail-proof unless you're a Man United or a Chelsea, and you just don't. Well, and you just don't know, and that's what they want though. They want to protect. That's why you see 4 Spanish teams and 4 English teams because it's we can basically almost guarantee that 2 of those 4 teams are going to be the same year in year out, and it protects them, and they keep funneling the money. That's part of it too. Is all the big teams have continually hoarded the Champions League cash, so Ajax, Sporting, Porto, Benfica, Feyenoord, the Shakhtar of the world.
You guys get scrapped.
We don't get all these other teams like the Celtics and the Rangers. All these other teams, the Galatasaray. Shout out to our friend from the last time I was here.
Speaking of him, he is the only reason I have watched Champions League matches this season. I have only watched Galatasaray. I am dead serious.
That's good. I'm rooting for him. That group's hilarious. I'm rooting for Galatasaray.
Yo, I'm telling you, man. I said it on video, right? I said, watch out. Galatasaray is gonna pull points from Old Trafford. Somebody called me crazy.
We all on that show predicted them to finish second too. It's funny. Yeah. We all said United didn't scare us, and we were right. We were right. Our timbers weren't shivered, and we were bang on. We're smart guys.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to jinx it, but I did place a bet on them because the odds were fucking phenomenal for me.
Coming back to sports betting,
incredible stuff.
Incredible knowledge. Incredible knowledge. Well, you want to know why? It was Mario Icardi. He called me and he said we're gonna finish second in the group, so I put a bet on it.
You placed the bet. You heard it here first.
Yeah, I'm gonna,
You called them Mario again, by the way.
Yeah, it's Mario.
I said Maro. I said, didn't I?
No,
Mario.
You said Mario.
Okay, whatever. Mario. So, Mauro Icardi and I are colluding. So, the goalie scored against.
What's his betting company? That's probably who you bet with, right?
Yeah, it's Wanda. I get 2 handies. No, I'm just kidding. But totally betted on him getting the winner in Old Trafford and all that other fun jazz. So watch now on Gazeta. It's gonna be breaking news. American guy colludes with Mauro Icardi.
Colludes with Mauro Icardi in the Champions League. Where the hell were we talking? We're back to Super League. I understand people not, and I'm not a fan of UEFA and how they run the European competitions and stuff. I think if Platini hadn't been such a fuckwit and gotten done in for corruption for trying to be FIFA president, we probably don't see as much of this nonsense because he was more about he pushed back a bit more on the bigger clubs when he was in charge. Not much, but a bit more than what we see now. I had a point to this. I lost my train of thought.
It's okay. I make people speechless. I understand.
Oh boy.
Ooh la la. Ooh la la.
Yeah.
We need a little bit more comedy. So they're like, Dash is really boring and shit. So I'm like, fine, let me flip the script and be funny.
I mean, on our show a couple weeks ago, I went on a rant and said, you know what, fucking get rid of offsides. They're like, no, you can't do that. I'm like, no, every week we come on our show, we debate a stupid offside rule. Fuck it. We're all grown.
Get rid of it.
Torch it. Burn it all.
I was like, no, we got 11 guys. They got 11 guys. We're all adults here.
Yeah, we've done a segment actually on implementing the hockey offside.
Yeah,
we want that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I've also said get rid of stoppage time and just go to 80-minute half, stop clock. Every time a whistle goes, you stop the clock.
That'd be so fun.
Because you know what? You're gonna eliminate all the stupid bullshit.
Yeah,
you are. We call it anti-jogo in Portugal, which is anti-game. You eliminate you eliminate all the time wasting and all the unnecessary fouls and stuff. That's what you're doing.
But here's my concern with that, and this is my biggest concern. If you do a stop clock, then you're gonna creep the door for advertisers.
Oh, nobody wants that.
You're gonna because
like but rugby does a pretty good job of it. So I think if you follow
rugby's not big enough. I don't know.
But that's a thing. I don't know, but that's the thing.
So hear me out.
Hear
me out for a second. The reason why I say that, because like for example, with the NFL, injured player on the field, break to commercial real quick, and that's kind of fucked up on the NFL sense because they're kind of hoping there's a stoppage, so it gives them an excuse.
They want a stoppage to give them an excuse,
So like now, if you were to do that like a stop clock, so say like for example, I just boot the fucking ball up across the stands in the rafters.
We got ball boys.
So yeah, I know they got ball boys, but they're like, all right, okay, quick break from our sponsors Heineken. So as like the whole play is getting ready to reshuffle, you'll have like a pip screen, like for example, almost like this, right? Where I'm sharing my screen right now. So like I'll share my screen, and then it's like you'll have this is the ad.
You have picture in picture essentially. Yeah.
You open,
but I've already seen that on some broadcasts.
Be more like that.
Yeah, it'd be something.
I've
like
already
that,
seen that on some broadcasts though, like on some soccer broadcasts, like here. I've already seen that happen a few times.
Yeah, it does. The North American feeds, like if you watch on TSN, for instance, yes,
they'll do that. They do that on occasion.
I hate it. TSN can suck.
TSN sucks because sports is all hockey now, right? TSN doesn't have much going for it.
It's just so bad. They suck at everything. Like how Dash gets so mad at the Paramount app.
I get mad at TSN.
I lose my mind. I'm sorry. Like
I've always said, and this goes for any form of content, like sports, specific content in general. Make it affordable and make it easy to find. If you're gonna do neither of those things, I'm pirating the shit out of your product. I'm
not saying he is, but if you don't meet those criteria,
I'm just saying. I know some dudes. Actually, I don't own a Fire Stick, but I know some dudes that do own a Fire Stick. The jailbroken ones. It's like
$15. It's $15 a month for everything in better quality.
I know people that pay $6 a month for a Fire Stick.
It's easy.
The trade-off is
they get
now
everything. They get every channel on Earth. If a kid throws a rock at a tree in Madagascar, they could probably find it.
The trade-off is now you just open a back door to the Chinese government, but that's up to you. I'm
not interested. They're
not
gonna get shit off of me. They're gonna get they're gonna get skip the dishes order and like porn. Like
they're like, oh look at this guy over here. Oh, he watching a Serie A. Oh, interesting.
They're gonna get skip the dishes. They're gonna regret it, and they're gonna get like. Porn.
Look, I'm just
like they're gonna get nothing. There's nothing interesting on.
I think Paramount absolutely has like the biggest L of broadcasting. One, their actual Serie A coverage is terrible. Two, their app is terrible. Three, they shirt sponsor one of the Serie A teams.
They do.
Like what the hell? Like
that's only because their original sponsor was a crypto company, and that went tits up pretty quick.
Like everything else they touch goes
everything else. Like everything else,
what do you expect?
Well, like everything else, crypto. It's like you're telling me this make believe money crash. Who could have guessed?
Isn't our money make believe? It's like
our
Bricks money is still make believe money in a sense. It exists on a computer somewhere.
I thought you were about to say the Juve bucks.
J bucks.
I thought you were talking about Canadian money because I always joke on our show that's monopoly money. It's not worth anything.
It's colorful. It's fun.
It's colorful. It's not worth shit anywhere else except in Canada.
Trudy bucks. That's what we call them. Trudeau bucks. Trudy bucks.
Well, like we were talking to because we pay like stupid shipping to get like stuff from the sporting store in Portugal.
Yeah.
And it's like when you factor in exchange, like it's just ridiculous. I'm like, well, it doesn't help that our money's worth shit.
We were talking about that today. Nothing. Yeah, because we were trying to ship stuff out to Europe and they're paying like 40 euros to ship it over. And actually, my parents bought me some stuff from the Juve store for my birthday, sent it to me, and I got like a UPS COD like 40-something bucks.
I got a FedEx invoice in the mail today. I got to pay.
Yeah, so it's insane.
It's ridiculous.
They get you everywhere.
Ridiculous.
All right, guys, we do have 2 questions with regards to the Super League coming from a couple of our listeners.
Who is
it?
So
name them out. I'm a
I will.
I want names. I want addresses.
I want blood. I want the blood on my hands.
Okay, so because there are 2, Dash will go first on this one,
ahead.
and on the second, Richard will go first.
That's all good.
Okay, so first one's from KB.
No, of course it's fucking KB.
Why was the Super League frowned upon by football fans? But there was, and he put fans in quotes, by the way. But there is no outrage when UEFA is planning to bring it forth. Basically,
there's outrage.
Because Apple is terrible and Android is the master race. Boom, done. Next question.
Oh yeah, he likes Apple.
Well, because like the thing is like, damn it, man. So let me give you some backstory. So I said the thing is too many times on a podcast, and Farhad called me out on it. Now I feel self-conscious every time I fucking say it.
It's a fascism.
I need to think of new transitional words. Therefore, my new word.
Okay.
UEFA is an interesting organization, right? Because when the first iteration came out, UEFA went on this like it's a cancer, it's blah 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 blah. And UEFA, I don't care what anyone says, UEFA is a boys' club. It is, always will be.
Every major confederation is. It sucks. But that's the way it is.
Just like how major corporations in the United States are boys' clubs.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants you to do something, not trying to throw some conspiracy theories out there, they will do everything in their power to maintain what they have.
Mm-hmm.
So UEFA was like, hey, Premier League, because look, the Super League wasn't dependent on Barcelona, Real Madrid, or Juventus.
It was dependent on the English teams.
It was dependent on the English teams. They have the biggest viewer base, the biggest financial gain, all of it. So Sheffrin went to his friends over there in the English channel, and he told them, if you do this, we're going to lose a lot of money, and you guys will probably be screwed over and go tits up. So the FA and all of them started this whole like, hey, save football. Football wasn't dying.
To be fair, I think the fans revolted on their own. A large section of the fan base, like, what are you doing? You didn't consult anybody on this. I don't think we should discount the amount of like Petr Cech almost got killed in a mob by Chelsea fans at one point. Like, let's not discount some of the fan revolt that happened.
Chelsea has fans
very visibly.
I'm kidding.
Or the Man United fans that stormed the pitch before the Liverpool game and they had to postpone it.
Man United fans too?
Yeah.
I almost feel like that type of fan will just look for any thread to pull.
I think there's a part of that. I think some of those fans are always just looking for a reason to kick off.
They're hooligans. They are.
Every team has them.
But the idea is, though, once this started happening, UEFA used it. And obviously, you have to also frame the narrative too, right? Prior to people getting pissed off and storming the pitch. So you had Sky Sports, you had all of them say and give you hey, this is kind of stupid, this is kind of bonkers, and then everyone's like, oh fuck yeah, it is, it's stupid and bonkers. Let's go storm and do this, right? So it's essentially. The news was lighter fluid to this. Like the media, the English media was lighter fluid to the fans. It was absolutely. So now when UEFA does it and there's not air quotes as much pushback because UEFA's already kind of chilled it out with people, right? If UEFA were to launch it, they've already kind of said, hey, Sky Sports, so-and-so, we'll give you lucrative TV deals if you... Because let's be honest, if anybody still thinks that, oh yeah, UEFA and the media aren't colluding, I'm sorry, you're naive. You're absolutely naive if you think that Sky Sports, DAZN, all of those beIN Sports, whatever channels are over there, don't collude with UEFA and don't do what UEFA tells them to do, because UEFA can say, hey, beIN Sports, you're pissing me off with your broadcast, I'm pulling my broadcast. We're not renewing. Kick rocks.
Billions of dollars worth.
Gone. So of course those guys are going to publish and do what UEFA want them to do. It's the truth. Look at the media in the United States. If I'm a huge corporation in the US and I want to push something, you best believe I'm telling CNN and them. I'm going to put some shit out, whether it's credible or not. No, I'm just kidding. But it's the truth, right? So if UEFA were to plagiarize, in which in this case, if this design is actually true, right? Allegedly,
they came out and denied it really quickly. So that tells me like if they came out like that day and we're like, no, this is bullshit. So that's where I'm like, okay, something's weird here. There's something going. There's some sort of disconnect.
Yeah,
somewhere.
because you look at the names they did. They did the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Aspiring League. If you look at the A22 model, it's literally the same shit.
Yeah.
So it's practically identical shit. And of course it's going to go over smoothly because UEFA's already the difference between A22 and the original Super League project.
We know who UEFA is. We know it's the devil you know versus the devil you don't.
Exactly. And UEFA,
we don't know who A22 is.
UEFA already found UEFA already have the marketing campaigns, the promotional campaigns, the way to soothe it over. They're essentially the sour grape, but you know that the sour grape is coming, so you found a way to mitigate the bad taste, right? Where it's like this, the other displays or the other things were just kind of like, I'm gonna deck you in the face, and you're like, what the fuck? Yeah. And that's why if that answers your question, that's why it's not. There's still probably some outrage, but there's not as much outrage as the initial one.
I think the outrage too stemmed from they did it so out of the blue that first time, and they showed such blatant disregard for anything. It was so haphazard. It was almost just disrespectful how unprepared and how, I would say, just like lack of foresight and research they did into it. It was almost like fans were like, you're putting this bullshit proposal in front of us, and you don't even have it fully fleshed out. You haven't even given us a full plan yet. You've given us a lot of vague bullshit, which is almost just rude and disrespectful to any affluent soccer fan. It's like, at least give me a fucking plan and then I can judge it. Well, you've given me half a plan, if that. Like, fuck out of here. If this is your grand scheme to save football and you can't even give me a full plan after apparently having 3 years to prepare it, I have no faith in you. That was the issue with the Super League, I think, too. They didn't give us a whole plan. They had 3 years to fucking work on it, apparently.
No, it was half-assed.
Behind the scenes. At bat, if not more, realistically. Like, Fiorentino Perez has been plotting this since, like, fucking the dawn of time. And they still...
and he never dies.
And they still... He's got the Infinity Stones, I'm convinced. And they still couldn't... And they still fucked it up. They had... Fiorentino Perez had 20 years for this proposal, if not more. And he still fucked it up. So what makes you think they're going to get it right the next time?
It's just like Barcelona and their refs. They'll get it right eventually.
Yeah, they'll get it eventually.
They'll get it
he's
eventually.
76, so he's
76.
Yeah.
He's been president of Real Madrid, basically when Figo signed for like the better part of like almost 20-something years.
I thought he was president in 08-09.
He had a stint where he got voted out.
Yeah, he was off for a couple of years.
And then he promised he pulled his bullshit when said I'll sign Ronaldo. Well, the first president said he'll sign Ronaldo, then Perez said he'll sign Ronaldo, and then it was just he had a couple years where he was out. He had like one election cycle where he was out and he was back in.
He's like, no, I'll sign Ronaldo. No. I'm going to sign Ronaldo.
That's what it was.
I'm going to sign him.
2009. Yeah, 2000, 2006, and 2009. So he had a 3-year period where he wasn't the president.
20 years.
20 years. Literally 20 years.
Those 3 years were the banter era. Because I remember Real Madrid from 07, 08, and 09.
It was like Beckham, but like washed R9 Ronaldo. Zidane was basically done.
Gone.
Casillas was like not quite like goated Iker Casillas. Like Ramos was like pimply fucking hockey hair Sergio Ramos.
Fuckboy Ramos.
Fuckboy Ramos. Frat boy Ramos.
Yeah.
Really. Like they just got like Pep before he was a real true shithouser Pep. Like they got babyface Marcelo. Like it was a weird transition time for Real Madrid.
Robinho, Wesley Schneider, Arjen Robben.
It was just they were just signing dudes, and like some of them would work, most of them didn't.
And then they all worked after they left.
Yeah. Yeah, realistically not wrong.
Yeah.
Dave, what's the next question? I think that answers it.
Okay, so this one comes from Bones, another regular. Could Juve and the other teams that were looking into the Super League sue UEFA for punishing them and then now doing the same idea? So is there basically a legal case for anyone here?
Well, they've already sued UEFA for, like, that's what this current lawsuit is. They sued UEFA for basically saying you're a monopoly, blah, blah, you're a regulator, but like every sport realistically needs a regulator. And that's what, whether for better or for worse, that's what UEFA is at the moment. So you kind of got to kick rocks from that. It would be interesting, but I think again the big clubs probably would just sit there. And I feel like they'd probably make some sort of backdoor deal with UEFA, like they always have tried, and they've always done. They're always going to push UEFA back a little bit and say, give us more power, give us more consolidation. End of the day, like there's one of two things happen. Either this is true, or there's some degree of truth to it, and someone leaked it. Either this leak is purpose one way or the other because they know the ruling in the courts coming up. So either someone knows true and leaked it to try to fuck with the lawsuit, or there's no truth to it at all. And UEFA was like, we're not playing this. We just revamped all our competitions to, again, bend over backwards some of the bigger teams. And someone's just trying to start some bullshit with the law. Either way, I think someone's just trying to start some bullshit because they don't like where the lawsuit's going.
Well, yeah, because like I think
someone who's pro Super League in this lawsuit must have a feeling it's not going to go their way. This rule,
Florentino Perez.
Well,
Fiorentina. It's a Spanish paper. It wasn't like an English paper. It was a Spanish paper, one of the bigger Spanish papers, Madrid-based. I'm pretty sure. We're not stupid. We're all adults here. Florentino Perez has a feeling this might not go his way, so he's trying to start some bullshit one way or the other. Whether there's any smoke to the fire he set or not. Because he knows he's not going to win in the end. And he's not going to get his grand plan where he gets all the conspiracy. Here's the foil hat. I remember this.
Foil J.
Yes, guy. But yeah, I think someone in Brad's probably, F. Perez. No, we can't start that. We'll call him Florentino P. That's Tuesday. They'll know that. I think he knows that it's not going his way, and he's trying to start some bullshit to see if he can sway anything last minute. And I just don't think it's going to work because I think what the courts are going to rule is they're going to rule to the Super League, a new league. There's nothing that states that a new league or competition can't be started. I think they're going to be found like in favor of that. But the problem is they need an actual independent regulator that can be proven to not be attached to the clubs themselves that have a vested interest in this. And I think that the court's going to say, we don't know who this A22 is. They're too fucking vague. So that independent regulator is going to have to be UEFA or FIFA or some other body that's not A22. Because no one knows who A22 are at the end of the day.
There's a YouTube video.
Yeah. There's some beady-eyed white dude that we've never heard of in our life. He might not even be a real person. He might be AI for all we fucking know.
Ooh. Could be.
He might not be a real dude. We've never heard of this man before, never seen of him before. He's just some dude for this random new company that just so happened to pop up at a weird, opportune time during this whole lawsuit and court case. Like, we find out that Barcelona is being done in for just absurd money laundering at worst, which is who were basically one of the big teams that are pushing the Super League because for them it's their get out of jail free card because they've mismanaged all their messy money so poorly. I think the UEFA story, it's interesting timing because 3 days or 4 days ago it popped up, and then like a day before that we find out they're gonna rule on the Super League like probably this month at the soonest. So it's just the timing of it's weird, and I just think someone's pissed off that it's not going their way, and that's why they leaked it.
Look, he's real. He lives in Madrid.
You looked him on LinkedIn.
He lives in Madrid. That doesn't raise any suspicions whatsoever. He's some random German dude who just happens to live in Madrid. None of this. Come on.
Hey, let's check out his company website. It doesn't even work.
It doesn't pop up.
Okay, you can click. It goes through. Okay.
What a shock.
Oh, wait. Are you on another tab? Because it still has you on his LinkedIn page.
Oh, yeah. It went back to the A22 page. Yeah. It did go back to them.
It did go to A22?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had to click the button. Yeah.
Like, for all we know, this dude's just not a real dude.
He's AI generated.
He happens to live in Madrid. Just so happens to live in Madrid.
Hey, look at the contact email. Does it say Florentino Perez at realmadrid.com?
Info at realmadrid. Yes, or whatever. What's his contact info?
Doesn't
say?
No, it doesn't even say.
Oh, yeah, that's convenient. That's real convenient.
Just have to go to the website, A22.com.
Go to the website and watch his fucking bullshit video again. And then
It's like, hey, it'd be funny. You type in A22.com and then on the bottom it pops up as RealMadrid.com as a subsidiary.
Actually, you know what? I'll do this on the side. There is a way to see who registers the website, so I'm interested.
I'm curious to see who's registered this website.
And if it's from Madrid.
If it's also from somewhere in Spain, then that should raise more red flags. I'm just saying. Because that whole website and that dude and that video just raises, and now that dude being from Madrid just raises more red flags. Like, I'm sorry. I like to think that, like,
guys,
like,
if
you guys have a smart audience. I think like our show has a smart audience. Like, I feel like we can all do the math here. The math is math. We can all put 2 and 2 together. It equals 4. Something's not right about this A22 and this bird guy that never existed until today. This make-believe dude.
So, in other news, if Richard disappears, guys, you know why.
You know what? If I suddenly disappear or get doxxed or something, you'll know why.
You'll know. Yeah. My dad one time thought, because I trashed on Gravina, and I basically called him a mafia boss.
Yeah.
Which isn't a massive stretch. And my dad was like, you cannot say
you don't know what kind of energy they have.
He phones me up all like upset and shit. I'm just like, well, what did I do?
What did I do, dog?
He's like, that Dash guy can say whatever the hell he wants. He's
an idiot.
Can. You.
Like, that's not my son. I don't give a shit what he says.
Hey, look at my script notes. Why does it say, Dave, why do you want me to say Gravina's Mafia, Gravina's Life? What the hell?
The script writers were in their bag on that episode.
I know.
I can't find this website.
I'm curious now who's registered this website. If it's registered in Madrid, that's like the final red flag for me. I'm sorry. I just don't trust it.
Domain lookup. Who is? Let's see. Doesn't work.
Let's see.
Something. Okay. Okay, we have it. I will present it.
All right. We're going to be waiting here with bated breaths.
This is it. All right.
Oh,
so it is German looking.
Okay. Email info@domain-contact.org. Well, that's not helpful.
It was registered, though, in April 2021, which is about when the original Super League thing
was about that time. So probably just after. So I'm wondering if they knew what I'm wondering. Tinfoil hat, keep it on.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they knew they were going to get the reaction and have set this shell company up as like their backup plan when they present plan B.
Maybe.
That's really tinfoil hat in the weeds now. But
does that say administrative contact Andrea Agnelli? No, I'm just kidding.
No, of course, like you can always redact it, like all of this.
That's
right?
what everything's redacted. What a surprise!
Yeah,
that's a lot of redacted. That's all. Everything is. They don't have any information. They're just
which is smart. It's smart.
I mean,
it's not a public company, so they don't have to either, right? So
yeah, exactly. Which again, a little bit of a red flag.
Hold on. Registrant contact Español.
España.
There it is. There it is. We just cracked the case.
I'm just saying. I hit or miss. I guess I never miss.
This dude don't miss.
Even in the heat of conflict, you don't miss. I called it. I was like, they're going to be registered in Spain. God, I'm so
emotional damage.
We gotta start incorporating sound effects in our show more often. Jesus.
Amazing.
I'm a stud.
It's good.
I have to get on Sam for that. I'll be like, hey, we gotta incorporate some of this audio in our show.
Okay, Dash, fingers off the button.
One thing, because you've hit the Sue. It never started out as Sue. It was Seam, then it was C, then it was CU, and then it turned into Sue.
And then now it's oh man. Thank you. I'm here all weekend, guys.
R.I.P. and Jesus.
Oh man. You know what? And just because we're already having fun, we mentioned this a bit on our Discord because that is where we have fun. But since we're playing with the sound effects,
can we not talk about Bernadeschi?
Burnout might be coming back. But no, we won't get into it now. I think that's really. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen.
If somebody wants to take Insigne off of my Toronto FC boys, weird.
He's looking at Lazio. Apparently, he wants to go to Lazio. Yeah.
Of all the fucking garbage teams,
he's a lazy bum. Like at this point,
exactly. Honestly, like as someone who's followed Insigne kind of throughout his career, like I was very excited by that signing as a Toronto FC fan. He has been such a lazy bum, such a letdown. He might be a bigger letdown than Jermaine Defoe when they signed him. The bloody big deal that they made him out to be. He is such a lazy prick on the field. He just looks interested.
He won the Euro, 13 million a season. I'm done.
Do you actually remember him playing though? That's the problem. Like I don't actually remember him.
He was injured. Like he came in like a bit last season. Was injured for most of it. He came in. The team was already bad. So he
came in injured. He came in
injured, but the team had already been bad that season. So they were like,
not that bad.
They were not as bad as they were this season, correct? But I think they kind of figured, okay, this year's a wash. Next year we have a full year of all the Italian boys, and we'll get into it. Well, you had Bob fucking Bradley as your coach, who was just not good at all. Couldn't fucking manage a goddamn Circle K, let alone a soccer team.
Well, now we got John Herdman, which is
we got John Herdman. Well,
Team Canada.
How bad is the state of affairs of Canada soccer that you want to go to Toronto FC, who are dead last in the league?
I think he realized that his tenure at the national level he probably took him as far as he's going to.
I think he took them as far as he was allowed to take them because they have no money. I think that's part of it.
Yeah, that could be it for sure because there's no money.
There is no money. I think I don't think it's as far as he could. I think it's as far as he was able to take them, which was where they were, because the Federation is also in some shady back.
Yeah, because they treat our women like shit. It's essentially what it is.
They treat our women like shit. Our men got asked after one camp to give back their tracksuits. They're like, yeah, you can't keep your Canada tracksuit, by the way. What do you mean? Oh yeah, we got to save that for the under 17s. What do you mean? That's how bad it was. Oh yeah, there was a story that they might have had to declare bankruptcy at one point. They don't have any money.
Soccer, everyone.
We don't. Yeah, our federation gets like a golden generation, like 3 or 4 like world class, like decent players, like Jonathan David, who I'm surprised is still in France. No offense to the French league. No, Alfonso Davies, Steven Eustachio, who probably realistically could be playing for a bigger team than Porto.
Which I think I just read that he's injured.
Yeah, he's out of their friendly tomorrow or whatever. He's been hurt, but like. They got a good, like, Tejan Buchanan, who's been rumored to go to Italy for a year now. Like, they got a good group of players, and they're just like, oh, we're doing nothing with it because we've made a backdoor deal, knowing that they had a World Cup to co-host.
That's true. I'm still waiting for those to go on sale, those tickets.
Probably next year, the year after. Yeah. I'm waiting for Copa America tickets to go on sale.
Ooh, there you go. I think we finally bored Dash. He always
no.
Beer league. Now we're talking about our stupid beer league. Okay.
Well, I was going to give a big shout out to Albania. They beat Czechia 3-0.
Albania might qualify for the fucking Euros, and that's
they're going to. They're 4 points ahead of second.
I know people like to rip. I know people like to rip on the expanded Euro, the 2014 format, but I don't mind it. Because you do get those fun stories like the Albanians or like the Wales a couple times. And also like the sprint for third place, like at the last Euros, like that group of death with Germany, France, and Portugal and Hungary. Don't tell me that was not enthralling television.
Yeah. I mean,
aged me that day. Aged me like 10 years in one day.
To be honest.
First we were in, and then we were out, then we were kind of in, then out, then in again. It was like, don't tell me that sprint for third place in the last group day is not entertaining.
No, it is. And like for me, this is kind of cool because like the younger generation of Albanians are actually really freaking good. Because like I mean, they slap Poland.
Same with Georgia too. Georgia's got a fun like the under 21 team. They're got some good players coming through. Like I like that.
Like in our group, and we have Czechia. I think they're Czechia now. They used to be the Czech Republic.
They're Czechia now.
Czechia. Yeah, Czechia. I've never. Never heard anybody call it.
Czechia. I've heard Czechia and Czechia. Not
but you've never heard Czechia because this is Dash. This is how Dash does things.
Dude, I honestly don't know what the hell they're called at this point, but you have
Czechia or Czechia.
I still call them the Czechs or Czech Republic.
Yeah, I call them the Czechs, and then you had Poland too. So like, and a really strong Moldova team, and Albania went in there. Right now, they've scored 11 goals and have only conceded twice.
It looked good.
Like they look really, really good. And like normally, I don't really follow them because they're just like the Detroit Lions of the Eastern.
It's like Balkan us. We probably Dave and I probably really didn't. I mean, I followed Canada, but like we didn't really watch because like we were dog shit. So we were resort to watching like Portugal or Italy or whoever like our grandparents and parents are, right? Like that's a lot of kids.
I did want to watch the 94 Canada Gold Cup win, but I had some stupid project, dude. My mother wouldn't let me.
Oh man,
you know, so like here's the crazy thing about like this Albanian run in qualifying. Their coach is Sloveno, a Brazilian coach, which I've never seen a Brazilian coach go to Albania of all places because we usually get like the washed up Italian coaches. And then the other thing too that I found interesting is the guys that have been showing up aren't our all-stars, right? Like maybe Bayrami, who starts at Sassuolo, and maybe Jim and Jimshiti, who's like Atalanta's starting center back. But like the guy that's been scoring these like 45-yard belters, Asani, plays in the Korean League, in the South Korean League.
The most random ass
place. And then like some of the other players too, like Armando Broja is Albania's leading striker. He's essentially had a Chiesa injury last season, and he's not at full fitness. But I'm telling you, man, like these guys, I'm not saying they're gonna win the whole fucking thing, but
they could do some damage. They get a good group. You don't know.
Well, and that's why I want them to finish first, because they get a better pot. When you finish first, you get a better pot in the draw.
You gotta bet you avoid at least one, or you avoid at least a couple killers.
Yeah, you avoid.
Portugal fucked around the last time. We got all the killers because we're fucking idiots. But it looks like this time we might finish in first, which will help us a lot.
I still think your coach is terrible.
Oh, I'm not a fan of him.
Why can't, like, it just baffles me how like Portugal fails to hire a coach. And speaking of coaches, Fernando Santos actually got canned because Albania beat Poland.
They put up with him for like 6 games. We put up with him for 6 years.
To me, that's the biggest. Everyone's like, yeah, Fernando Santos won Portugal. I'm like, dude, Ronaldo won you guys that Euro. Like, I
wouldn't even put it on Ronaldo. I would just put it on. We just shithoused better than everybody that tournament.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, like the fact that he fumbled the 2018 World Cup, I was surprised that
the 2018 one was not good timing because Ronaldo. We found out after Ronaldo's on the outs at Real Madrid, there's all the bullshit going on there. All the sporting guys, which there's like 4 or 5 sporting players, had just been attacked at their academy, and they had been going through legal disputes with Sporting and all that. So their heads are not into it. Couple guys don't end up going because they're hurt. Couple guys go in out of form. So I could almost forgive him for the 2018 World Cup. The 2021 Euros is where it was unforgivable for me. Everybody on that team. First of all, that team was about as good a team as they could have taken.
And they had such their kits too. Oh man,
I had to bought that kit on
their bench. I mean, even with the World Cup, 2022 World Cup, that team was fucking stacked.
I think the 2020, I think the Euros in 2021, you had so many guys coming off of unbelievable seasons, like Andre Silva, who's kind of a ghost now, but he's coming off a wicked season.
I think I had predicted them, actually. I predicted Portugal to win.
Everybody did, because they had like 4 guys finish as top scorers in their league. Like they had the top scorer in Portugal, sat on the bench, didn't get any game time, and Pedro Gonçalves. Like just won a title with Sporting. João Painha, who was now midfield destroyer for Fulham, almost Bayern Munich, sorry. Couldn't get a sniff of game time. They had to play washed up William and Danilo as a double pivot, which was never going to work. No offense to them. They're not bad soccer players. They're just so slow.
Yeah.
And for a team that was playing defensive, they got torched on every counterattack. So that was unforgivable. You had Ronaldo, still good Ronaldo, but he was also also the bad Ronaldo, and I want to be the focal point. Everything has to go through me.
Yeah.
That tournament was more unforgivable than the 2018 World Cup. I can give him a bit of a pass for the 2018 because he won the Nations League that next year. 2021, 22, 22, unforgivable stuff. He's football. He should be locked up for crimes against football.
I know how
we called him Almando Ben Santos in some circles. He was fucking brutal.
Dude, how do you lose to Morocco with Rafael Leao, Ronaldo, and Bernardo Silva as your front three?
I maintain I think that game could have gone on for 4 hours. We wouldn't have scored a goal. But that being said, they set up the way he set up the midfield and everything was so sloppy. I don't know what the defense was doing on the Morocco goal. To this day, I don't know what they were really doing. They were caught napping, I guess. But I maintain like Morocco was just so stubborn and well organized and was so dangerous on the counter that we could have played that game. We could still be playing that game now, a year and a half later, and I still don't think we would have had a goal. It was just one of those games.
Just one of those games. Morocco was, man, they were like, they were trash manning everyone.
they did to us what we did to teams in the Euros in 2016.
Yeah, they
played a bit of. They were well organized. They were stubborn. They were quick and dangerous on the counterattack. They took their chances, and we just happened to be the victims of them on that day. Could have been anybody.
I wanted Mbappe versus Leao so fucking bad for that semifinal.
I think everybody, the scriptwriters thought it was going to be Messi Ronaldo final.
It would have been awesome. Oh, I would.
Oh, the internet would have closed. We would have closed down the internet forever after that.
It would have been too obvious. I wouldn't have taken off my tinfoil hat.
I mean, Argentina being in the final wasn't obvious enough as it is.
No, but that it would have been too obvious.
It would have been too tinfoil hat. It would have been like it would have been one of either this just freak coincidence or this is blatantly rigged. Like there's no in between. Either this happened by pure chance or they've rigged this whole thing.
I know, right? Like
no middle ground.
Like, God, man, it's so hard for me to get on the Messi train. Like, and this isn't me knocking his talent or anything like that, but the way that dude has been spoon-fed every fucking opportunity. Like, they gave him, like, 4 international tournaments and a fucking plethora of 3 years.
Listen, like, he's just an average man. He shops at the local grocers.
Yeah, he shops at PubX, but, like... I'm sorry, man. Like, I have a very hard time getting on him and saying, the GOAT. It's like, dude, you are legitimately an industry plant.
Do you get on any man and yell the GOAT?
No, I do not.
I don't.
Maybe
Hilaire Maradona.
Okay, I just want to clarify.
Dave was going for a joke there. Totally. Yeah. No, but like... to me, Messi, and people can hate me for this, but Messi to me is like an industry plant. Like, you guys know what an industry plant is?
Yeah, I know what it is.
Yeah, it's like honestly what Lionel Messi is. Like, he is the definition of an industry plant. Like, the kid's like, out of a sudden, he just pops out of nowhere in like 2006, 2007. Oh, yeah, this guy with a fucking growth hormonal. Like, the guy, obviously, he was juiced so he could actually play because of his growth hormone deficiency. So I'm pretty sure he's had a abnormal amount of testosterone in his body while he was doing that. And then it's like Sepp Blatter's like
Ronaldo's been juicing for fucking years and we just don't know it.
He probably found a way to beat the test, but you know, the thing I gotta give Ronaldo props for is Ronaldo
he found a way to beat the test.
He found a way to beat the test. No, but Ronaldo kind of showed the importance of having good discipline and a good work ethic, right? Because like Ronaldo wasn't this, you know, he wasn't this like gifted phenomenon, right? Ronaldo was a trained phenomenon.
Yeah, if you were to make I always think if you were to build a soccer player in a lab, you're probably gonna get like a Ronaldo.
Yeah,
if you're just building them, if you just want to build a fucking cyborg, you get a Ronaldo or like a Holland, just a fucking freak.
Yeah, and that's one of the things where I think Ronaldo gave back to the game was Ronaldo showed that, hey, you don't need to be like some kid in some middle of nowhere village in so and so to be like the next greatest player. If you eat right, sleep well, and train hard, Master Roshi. It's Master Roshi's fucking Turtle Hermit saying for all my Dragon Ball Z fans out there. Eat well, sleep well, train well. That's your 3 keys to being successful. So like Ronaldo is
say
like
your prayers, eat your vitamins, drink your